complex.
We have to mute now.
An open-minded, open-hearted spiritual community for curious and compassionate seekers. We are UUs, as we like to call ourselves, and we recognize that the truths of the universe are too complex to be summed up by any one religious tradition's dogma. So instead of focusing on creeds and beliefs here, we focus on cultivating relationships, community, and responsible action in this life. We draw meaning and wisdom from many sources too. The healing power of nature, the fierce call of justice work, the enlightening discoveries of science, the ancient teachings of interdependence and unity, and awe for the great mystery itself. We acknowledge that conservative expressions of religion have caused and continue to cause harm to people. Here we offer the potential for healing and the affirmation of the inherent worth and dignity of all. That is why we have proclaimed for decades that love is divine, that gender and sexuality are experienced and expressed in a beautiful spectrum of possibilities. That is why we openly celebrate atheists, agnostics, humanists, pagans, and modern-day witches. We especially welcome anyone who's new or newish. We know that coming to a place like this can be intimidating, and we're so glad you're here. And you're welcome to join us after the service for coffee and conversation. For all of you of all ages, we acknowledge that not everyone participates in worship in the same way. So we welcome you to do what you need to do to be present. Move if you need to, laugh or cry if you need to, and sing and dance. Speaking of singing, Jessica Friesen, our music director, is homesick today. So we're going to all concentrate really hard on proving that we can sing a cappella. We can do it. We can. Shh. Better faith. I have faith in you. Even if your minister apparently doesn't. No, just kidding. I'd also like to acknowledge that we have some people joining us on Zoom today. And I would like you to take a couple of minutes to greet your neighbors.
I say hello to all 12 of you who are on the internet.
Good morning to you, Scott.
Yes, good morning, Scott.
Morning.
Good morning. It's cold out there.
Well, we're glad to be connected. That was a little weird to start off.
Yeah, it was.
It was a bit weird.
I finally found an old link button that got me in. The newest one did not.
My old one didn't work either, so I think they just realized they had a problem.
Our gathering
The new one now
this
works.
morning in the apparently gray hymn book, which I still think is a dark green. 188, come, whoever you are.
Whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair.
You had a
Come, yet again come.
And our land acknowledgement this morning is from Eleanor Reynolds, who is on Zoom.
Well, finally, I'm on Zoom. Good morning. Let us acknowledge now that we are meeting here in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral unceded territory of the Mi'kma'ki people. This territory is covered by the treaties of peace and friendship, which Mi'kmaq and the Maliseet people first signed with the British Crown in 1725. The treaties did not deal with surrender of land and resources, but in fact recognized Mi'kmaq and the Maliseet title and established the rules for what was to be an ongoing relationship between nations. We are all a treaty people.
Cost approximately $1 million to host, to have the Olympics,
Thank you, Eleanor.
I have here from the
I now
climate.
invite us to take a collective breath together. We enter into the sacred space of worship as Phoebe lights our chalice, beloved symbol of our Unitarian Universalist movement. On the Brink of a New Year by Lois Van Leer. We light this chalice on the brink of a new year, letting go what has been, open and hopeful for what may come, renewed, restored, ready to live life fully anew. May we move forward with intention.
Excuse me, I think Eleanor didn't finish what she was saying.
Pam,
Good morning, everyone. I add my welcome to and welcome all of you here in this new year. We are here together on this, it finally feels like winter. At least this morning it did. My hair froze a little bit on my walk here. It locked in my curls, so I feel lucky. I'm Reverend Israel. I use he, him for pronouns, and I'm the interim minister of this congregation. And it's good to see you all here. As we gather this morning for our first service of the new year, we gather, you might see that there's some different things around the room. We're going to have some ritual this morning. We're going to do some ritual together to mark this turning of the year, to mark this new year, to say goodbye to the old one, even though we're already in the new one, to give it a good, proper send-off. Not to forget about it, but to give it a good, proper send-off so we can identify for ourselves what is true and good and important to us as we come into this new time together. I have a kid, as many of you know, and she's 3 years old. She just turned 3 years old, and she's incredibly curious about the world. And every night we stay up together when it's way past her bedtime, but she asks me lots of questions to process the day, to try to make sense of everything she experienced that day before she can get ready for the new one, before she can rest. And one of the things that we have been talking about, because her birthday is also in December, is the idea of what a year is and what the passage of a year means. And we've been talking about the new year. And it's fascinating to see the world through the eyes of a young child, because everything is new and everything is kind of forming and they're trying to make sense of everything. And so have you ever just stopped to try to explain to someone what the significance of a year passing is, or what that really even means? I mean, we have every day we go through life and we look at the clock and we know what a second means, what an hour means, what a day means. And days are easier because you go to bed and you wake up and you kind of tie a nice bow on the day and start a new one. But a year is an interesting thing when you stay up till midnight and the clock changes and it's, well, I'm still awake, but what really is the significance of that transition point? And it's been really interesting to try and put it into words. So that's partially what we're doing today, and for the rest of this month, actually, is to put into words what this delineation, what the meaning of that is. I might put forth for us this morning that that time and years are actually really important to humans, to have this sense of the passage of time. Our age, the number of years that we've been alive, is often an important part of our identity, even if we don't love it, even if we want to be older because we want to experience more things, or maybe we want to be younger because we want to have more time left to experience them, or because we want things to be like they once were for ourselves. It's an integral part of who we are. It's how we mark who we are and mark our time here. But I want to focus today on not the quantity of time, of course, but on the quality of that time that we spend, that we pass, that we experience. Because the turning of the year might be arbitrary, right? If we lived in a solar system that were configured a different way, our year would be shorter or longer. And so that passage of time would be different, but it would still be important. And so I think this is a uniquely human thing and a uniquely spiritual pursuit. To make meaning of something that is kind of random, the fact that it takes 365 days to go around the sun is sort of just the result of the explosion of the universe that we live in. But it's important to us because we experience it. And if you think about for a moment, the fact that our year is 365 days, that we mark ourselves in our lives so often by this passage of time, literally connects us to this planet that we live on. We are defined by the rotation and the what's the word? Orbit, thank you. By the orbit of our planet. That helps us to understand who we are and reminds us that we are, that our little rock in this corner of this universal explosion that we're living on, that we express ourselves in the results of that explosion of the universe. And that's pretty cool, that we are connected to that. So we find ourselves today at the beginning of the year. And I hope that we can be for a moment like Janus, who is the Greek god that is often depicted, if you've ever seen a picture, of having two faces, one face looking forward and one face looking back. Standing in that doorway of the year, reflecting on who we are and what we're doing here, where we're going next and where we've come from. So our rituals for today, you will soon find out what all of these things are. But I just want to start by saying that I don't think that these things are magic. They're not going to magically transform you into what you want to be. They're not going to magically make your resolutions come true or make you become that person that you want to be. They're not going to get rid of the things that keep you down. But there's something really important about doing this kind of stuff together. They're not magic, but they are helpful and they're useful and spiritual, because it's about the intentionality that we put into our time. Like I said, the quality of the time that we spend on this, in this explosion, not the quantity of it. So we're going to go through many of the different emotions, perhaps, that we can experience at this turn. Come in, at the turning of the year. From joy or thanksgiving to lament to release, and I will invite you to dream as well. So in that vein, let's sing a song together before we continue. It's number 100. I tried to pick songs that I hoped would be familiar, at least if not to everyone, but that songs that would at least be somewhat repetitive that you could catch on quickly. Good luck with which part, Faith. Yeah. I'm going to take a sip of water. I'm going to invite you to rise in body or in spirit as you feel moved, or to stay seated if you're more comfortable. And I'll cue us off in just a sec. Pretend the intro is playing on the piano. I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got pain like an arrow, I've got pain like an arrow, I've got pain like an arrow in my soul. I've got pain like an arrow, I've got pain like an arrow, I've got pain like an arrow in my soul. You may be seated. So in this at this new year, we're going to first give a proper send-off to the old one, to the one that has already passed. Maybe like a dear friend that came to visit you, or a dear friend who sent you a card or something in the mail, and you haven't quite thanked them yet, and they're waiting for you to thank them before they go. We're going to thank the previous year for the joy that it brought us, even if it also brought you other stuff. So I want you to maybe just think a little bit about those past 365 days. What was good? What was joyful? Maybe it was some big life event that you experienced, or an accomplishment that you finally achieved, or something at work or at school or in some other area of your life where you were maybe praised, or maybe you did your best and you're very, very fulfilled by it. Maybe you did something that you had resolved to do. Or maybe you realized that you were pretty great already, pretty lovable and beautiful just the way you are. So maybe you were able to release that resolution that you made, knowing that you didn't need to make it. You didn't need to pursue it. Or maybe you discovered something different for yourself. Maybe you're still in process. Maybe it's a small thing, or not a small thing, like spending time with the people that you love, or finding time for yourself when you most need it. Maybe it was a trip or a meal that you had or went on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass out this. If you could take a piece of paper, there's small paper or little paper. Maybe maybe your joy feels effusive and big, or maybe it feels a little more subtle to you. If you want to take that and something to write with, and write something down on it, You don't have to do this if you don't want to. If you just take it and pass it down. This is an invitation. You don't have to write it down even you could draw a picture or a symbol or something like that. Because what we're gonna do is, we're gonna create a shower of joy. For each other. I'll explain more about that in a minute. Think about something from the past year that brought you joy, that you are grateful for, that you want to thank the previous year for. Something that made your life does that make sense? I can keep going. I can talk all day if you want me to. We have a mystery thing here behind the curtain too. I don't know if anybody wants to help me figure out what that is. I found it in the room this morning. Yeah, that was me. I'll clean it up. So when you're ready, what you're going to do is, you're going to take your piece of paper and you're going to crumble it up into a ball. And we're going to help create a shower of joy and gratitude for each other. Don't do it until I tell you. By throwing them up in the air at each other. Not like in somebody's face, though, please. The idea is we are going to enact the wisdom of the proverb that says, joy shared is double joy. It's not a proverb, it's a saying, but we're going to share our joy with each other so that we can see just how much there was out there this year. And so when you throw a piece of paper, try to, have fun with this. Throw it across the room if you want to. Just try not to hit somebody in the face. And you're going to find another piece of paper, hopefully not the one that you did. And you're going to pick it up, and you're going to read what it says out loud, or just say, if it's a picture, just describe it out loud. It's going to be a little bit much, but we're going to do it. So then we're going to repeat, and you can just do that a few times. And so we are. Does anybody want to help me figure out what's under this sheet? Other than the file cabinet. It's loud. Does anybody know what this is? Hopefully it works. We'll see. I think it might. All right. Okay. Okay, now it's your turn. Let's create our shower of joy, shall we? Don't be shy. Does anybody want to kind of say one of the things out loud so everyone can hear? Finish the manuscript. Anybody else who wants to? You can just shout it out. I can repeat it. Okay.
Finally, I found out the big balance of life, love and work, so I can be the best I can be.
What else? Yeah, can you want to?
All right, we have one from Pam B. Her 3 joys is that she's retired, her son found a new place to live, and her grandson got tubes in his ears this fall, and his hearing has improved 100 times. Mary Frances,
I can shut it off
her
if you
joys
want.
are introducing her son to the family members for the first time, and cross-country skiing in BC, and participating in her best friend's wedding. And Leslie said that his is his new grandson, Nathan.
I found 2. One says, we know where this came from. Refugee application for 200 people, no small feat. And this one, the birth and growth of my great nephew, Lyndon. They all need to hear it.
Okay. It says, I'm grateful for the work opportunities I have had and for the love and support of my friends and family.
Mine is a drawing of a heart with 2023 under it. Simple, but effective. Do you want to read yours? Anyone else?
This one says, I'm grateful for the girls in India and for the supper with spouse.
This one shares joy for the grandchildren's accomplishments.
Anyone else? Oh, yeah, please. Yeah, just so everyone can hear. Yeah.
New job and time spent with wonderful friends.
Yeah, the people on Zoom can't hear if we don't use the mic. Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
I fed many friends on my sunny deck.
Yeah.
And Brian's joys are after 3 years of the pandemic suspension, his son and family in Cochrane, Alberta. I'm guessing he's able to visit them, and his sisters in BC and Manitoba, and sister-in-law and daughter in Ontario, and all their families. I'm guessing that's being able to visit them, plus a wonderful whirlwind road trip in Newfoundland with his sisters, and many good visits with his wife's family.
I have one here that says health and
Just
being
say that to the
vertical.
mic. Health and being vertical.
There was one thing I put on mine, wasn't mentioned in it. I think it's a joy for everyone to share, and that is Capella Regalis. It's a a very uplifting. I know we have wonderful choirs, but you got to check out Capella Regalis. You can often see it at evening song in the cathedral. But you know, you don't have to listen to the prayers.
So what I want to invite you to do is to take these with you. Make sure, take one with you, and maybe not, ideally not the one that you wrote, so that you can have a reminder all year of the little and big things that are out there for yourselves and for others. I'm going to invite you now. We're going to turn a little bit. Yeah, you want to say anything?
I'm just going to invite Phoebe and Ivy
Okay.
upstairs if they wanted to join me.
Great. Thanks. I'm going to take a few moments to my singing. To know that is, I invite you to take a breath in your seats. To settle where you're sitting and remember that as the year turns, the world turns, there is joy, there is pain, there is sadness, everything in between. We live in a culture, I think, that often tells us, Western culture often tells us to push through our sorrows, push through our pain, to hide it sometimes. Sorry, Marilyn. I have to get the vacuum later. That tells us, especially some of us who are socialized in certain ways, might be told to minimize your pain or deny it or pretend that it's not there, to be strong, maybe. Or maybe that you just need to transform it somehow and find the lesson in it because everything happens for a reason. And maybe in your life you will find a reason behind that thing. Maybe you will find a way to transform it for yourself, and that's beautiful. But I also put forward that we need to make some space for it first. Silently or aloud, to ourselves or with someone else. And sometimes it's important to have a good cry. Sometimes it's useful. And then there comes a time maybe to move on eventually and to come back to it again and again. So I invite you to think about the things this year that were less joyful, challenging, hard. Maybe the things that you didn't have enough time to make space for. Maybe the things that you want to make a little more space for processing. Not expecting you to process it fully in this moment. I'm asking you to identify what that thing is, maybe if it exists for yourself. And if you feel moved to come up here in a moment, what I have for us here is a version of our communal well. It's often where we put our stones for our stories, joys and sorrows and complex truths, and name them aloud in the space. This morning, I have made it for us a weeping well. And so what it is if you can identify something for yourself that you feel like you want to make space for this year in the coming months or weeks, or to hold a sorrow for yourself, even if it's something that you've already experienced and haven't had space for, and you need to mark it. That's what this is for. It is to hold those things that perhaps made you weep, the things that need to be acknowledged before entering into this new year, before continuing in this new year. You are very welcome to come up here silently to participate in this ritual. You're also welcome to speak it aloud into the microphone if you'd like to. One of the reasons, like I said, that we do rituals is not because they're magic. This is not going to heal our pain. But it does provide a way for us to have our pain or our complexity be witnessed. And maybe even if it's something that you feel like you need to make space for, it's a way of having it witnessed for you, so maybe that you can feel like you have some accountability to actually doing that if you say it out loud in front of other people, or even just make this gesture in front of other people. So when you drop the stone into the well, it'll fall slowly, and the well will weep. So I invite you to come up now. And Riley, can you play our music for us? Thanks.
Big one.
Yeah, go for it. If you want them like, it's just hand soap, by the way.
I have two. That works. This is for my house that I'm going to have to say goodbye to this year. I look forward to being in it for 16 years, and I've only been back for 5, but I have to let it go. And this is for February. Februarys are always awful. William died in February, Laura died in February, and this year I'm marking a year since Eileen died in February.
This is for, my friend Malaya, who passed away this year. Sorry, I cry really easily.
This is for my sister who died on the 28th of December. And it's doubly sad because we weren't as close as I would like to have been.
This is for Kate, who died last January 17th with
the medical assistants in dying. And she was a very important part of my life. My life would have never been the same without her. So this is for Kate. Oh no, bubbles.
I'll invite anyone who wants to come up, even if you don't want to say anything, to take a moment if you need a moment for yourself. If you still want to say something, you can.
This is for all the people who died in Russia and in Ukraine, and let's hope the war can somehow end.
Invite us to sing number 205 in the hymnal, Amazing Grace. If anyone wants to come up while we're singing, you're welcome to as well. Good time for the introverts to come up. (205). Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. And even there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, with no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. And so we keep turning, knowing that some of those things that are challenging in our lives can be useful for transformation, can lead us to something. In the way that a farmer might burn some of the things that remain in a field at the end of the year to feed the soil with nutrients for the next planting. Sometimes we need to clear things out, to burn things, to feed what comes next. Sometimes we need to to let transformation take place. Knowing that even after transformation, there's still ash, there's still residue, and we're not fully trying to cleanse ourselves of something, that not everything can be transformed. That some things will stay. Will stay with us, will linger. Some things we're not ready to see transformed, to let go of, to get rid of. This is not a prescription, it is an idea for reflection. I have often found myself on New Year's Eve alone, which actually is a really nice thing for me as an introvert. I find that that solitude is very reflective and productive and beautiful for me. And I love that the way that our Western culture keeps track of time. New Year's happens in the winter, because I think the cold is the perfect season for me for thinking about what I have that's kind of beneath the surface. What is transforming beneath the surface for me? Reminding me of that important thing that many seeds, so many seeds need to sit below the ground in the winter to swell with water to prepare for the next growing season. Some particular memories that I've had of New Year's when I've been by myself are going up to the roof of the building where I live or a hill or somewhere and looking out at midnight. And if you're in a city or a more heavily populated area, you'll usually see fireworks somewhere at midnight on New Year's Eve, even if they're on the horizon. And I love sitting there and watching those little bursts of light go up into the sky. I hate hearing them, but I like seeing them from far away. I like seeing those bursts of light go up into the sky and pop. I feel like I'm witnessing some sort of cosmic event. The burning up of something, the exploding of something, and the brightness, the movement of particles making way for something new that will swirl around until they figure out where they're going. We're going to use fire. We're also going to use water, if you don't like fire. I have the fire extinguisher, don't worry. I have a special kind of paper that basically evaporates when you hold it to a flame. We're going to do it over some sand, but I have ways to put it out if anything goes wayward. So the invitation is to think about the things in your life, in yourself, that you would like to see transformed in this new year. Changed. The things that maybe you need to, want to, would like to try to let go of. The things that maybe you need to shed to move on from something. The resolutions maybe from last year that you need to let go of. The people or places or things that are not serving you well. The thing on your to-do list that just keeps staring you in the face, and maybe it's time to say, maybe I don't need to do this thing, or maybe I need to do something else. The habits that you would like to change. And you're invited to come up here, and I have this special paper, and I have tongs. And what you're invited to do is take a small piece of this paper, hold it with tongs to the flame, and watch it. Watch it transform. I recommend you get a relatively small piece of paper. and you use the tongs. And see what happens. It'll fall into the sand. I'm going to put the paper over here and the tongs here. And if fire is not your thing, it's mine. You can use water. And this is a reminder of the shit in life that it's time to say goodbye to. Now, when you put this in water, it's not going to totally go away, but it will break apart, and it will need some help. And I will do a ceremonial flushing of it later. So we're going to have some music, and you're invited to come up and do one of these two things. There's also salt if you'd like to see it dissolve in the water. You can do all three if you want to. So the idea is that you are calling to mind something that needs to be flushed or transformed to make way, to make space for relief. It's not magic, but it is a way for you to make a commitment. It does burn pretty quickly, so just be careful. If anyone wants to say anything when they come up, you're welcome to. Okay. I'll put the microphone here for anyone who wants to say anything when they come up.
I'm letting go of or bringing up my need for external validation. Wow.
Yeah.
I was
Use
there?
this one. Yeah.
Oops, I did it wrong.
It's all right.
It went up in flames though,
Yeah.
so I hope it helps.
Just in case. Yeah.
Here, you might want to try that.
Yeah. It's all right. It's cool. Use the sand tray one. It's got a little extra clearance. If anyone would like me to burn a piece of paper for them, or put some paper in the water, if you raise your hand, I'll do it for you.
I want to transform fear and self-doubt into like calmness and confidence.
Right on. We all need a little help sometimes. This is for all of you. Well, I'll leave that if anytime between now and the end of the service, anyone wants to come up and try one of these things, I'll leave them here. Our final way that we witness the turning and partake in the turning of the year is to think about once our fields have been burned and cleared, once our seeds have had adequate time to swell, once we've had time to cry, and once we can be led by the knowledge that joy is everywhere, and it is mixed up with the salt of tears and the shit and the flames and everything else. Incidentally, which is also very good for crops. Maybe not the salt. Depends on what you're growing. We make way for planting. We prepare for planting. And so we think about the things that we are growing, the new creativities that are waiting to blossom, waiting to sprout so they can grow and be watered and tended and loved into blossoming. Knowing that some of those things, many of those things perhaps might not work out. We might discover that we need to plant a different crop than we expected might grow in our garden. But we know that the process of nurturing growth, of planning out what we are going to grow, is important, or is useful. Was it Martin Luther who said, "If the world would end tomorrow, I would still plant my apple tree"? Does anyone know? I think it was. Planting and growing and tending is beautiful and valuable, even if we don't see the fruit, too. So I invite you to think about the things that you are planting, tending, that you wish to grow this year in our great big garden of community, and for yourself, so that we can feed and nourish ourselves. So we have this is your last invitation to take a piece of paper in the shape of a flower. Where did they go? Oh, okay, we'll read it in a sec, but Mary Claude had paper. Where did it go? Anyone see little flower-shaped pieces of paper somewhere? Okay. Well, let's use that again. It's colorful paper. You are going to be invited to put something on that piece of paper. And you will be invited to share it with someone else. If you want to, you don't have to. Like we do at the UU flower ceremony often. That a thing here? Flower communion? Good, good. So some of you might know what I'm talking about. Yeah, we bring flowers. This is a tradition, if you don't know, in many, many UU congregations, the bringing of a flower to represent yourself and your gifts to the community. And it is, you bring it and we create a bouquet, and then at the end you take one, not the one you came with. So this is what you're going to be invited to do, to write this down, and if you want to share it with someone else who can carry that hope for you throughout the year. Maybe you can even check in with each other about it. Or if you'd like to just keep it for yourself because it's not ready to be shared, that's okay too. I'm going to pass these out for you. You just maybe take one and pass it down. I'll just do this. Yeah, here, I'm going to take a little stack and I'll just help. Here, I'm going to give you those if you could pass them back. And anyone who needs one, you could just pass these around. Take one. You need some over there. Where'd the rest go? Who needs? There's some more here if anyone needs some. Anyone else needs paper? Anybody else? Take a moment. I'll put some here if anyone needs it. Some people find it powerful to write something down, and even more powerful to share it with someone else because that makes it feel a little more real. So this is why I'm inviting you to do this. I hope you'll maybe take the slightly uncomfortable step of trying to share it with someone else, if you will. Whether that be someone here or someone else maybe in your life that you feel a little more comfortable with. Or maybe after the service, while you're having coffee, you might want to share it with someone else. Or maybe your dog or your cat too. Goldfish, parakeet. Before we close, let's sing together one more time. Actually, we're going to sing 2 more times, but let's sing together. It's number 396. I know this rose will open. What? How many of you know it? Let me see hands. I thought. Yeah. You want me to sing it for you? Okay. I know this rose will open. I know my fears will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I know my fears will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this this rose will open. Pam? Okay, Marilyn? We will have a benediction in a moment and sing ourselves out, but first we have two important things.
So first of all, we don't have any of the usual, not on.
Push that button right there. Hold it up. Yeah, there you go. Should be good now.
We don't have the usual announcements, but I have one I would like to make for you. Some of you have already seen the painting in the front ballroom. This is really quite wonderful and special. The artist is Jeremy Vaughan, the son of Rodney Vaughan, and another person, old family friend in Ontario, purchased this and donated it to the church in memory of Rodney. We will get a plaque made to go on the wall before Rodney's service, I hope, which is just 2 weeks away. Now it's time to ask for money.
I do have an offering too. I mean, an announcement, but go ahead with that now.
Okay.
We'll pass the plates while we're making the announcement. Sorry, Marilyn.
No,
Go
that's
ahead.
fine. One of the things that we have decided this year is the first Sunday will be a collection taken up for the work of this church. Second and fourth Sundays are for the brunch, and the third Sunday is Share the Plate. There are 5 Sundays this month, and since we've missed one, today we will call the first Sunday, and it will be for the work of this church. Please know that everyone is included and valued here, regardless of your ability to contribute financially. Most of our members contribute their money through automatic monthly withdrawals. Let me know if you want to do that. And there are many other ways to contribute than just financial. For those of you on Zoom, if you want to send a e-transfer to treasurer@uuch.ca, that's an auto deposit email, and you put your name on it and it will be credited to you. Thank you.
I have a couple of quick, am I on? Yeah. Couple of quick announcements. We have a member who's one of their spiritual practices of sort is creative writing and different types of writing, and they're looking for people who might be interested in starting a small writing group together. So if anyone's interested in that, it's in our newsletter. Their name is Richard. I don't have their email off the top of my head. They're not a member, they're a newcomer friend, and looking to connect with people that way. It's in the weekly newsletter, the last one that went out. If you are curious about that, email me and I'll connect the two of you if you can't find their email. I am also, one of the things I was wondering is why we don't have a choir, and I know there's lots of reasons, but I would love to invite us to form a new one in the new year. And so if anyone's interested, please let me know, or oh, I see some excitement there, cool. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Fantastic. Do you know how to email me? Yeah. Okay. See me afterwards. If anyone else is interested, send me an email. My email's not on the back of the order of service today like it normally is. It is minister@uuch.ca. But we could talk afterwards. Or you could let Jessica Friesen, our music director, know too. That's my other one. And the next couple of weeks, we're going to continue with some of our experimental gathering programming, our spiritual cafe. So we will have a shorter service, and then we'll have conversation as part of the service and coffee. And if anyone wants to bring things to share for that, you're welcome to. That would be a nice way to make it feel more cafe-like and connective. And Colin, did you know I was going to make an announcement about this? Well, I hope, Colin Kerr, you have a, Shripad asked me to make an announcement about you're giving a talk today, is that right? On green?
Shripad must have put you up to this.
Would you like me to make an announcement, invite people to come? Okay, great. So Colin Kerr's giving a talk today about green hydrogen energy at St. Mary's University at 2:30. And I heard that Colin holds 7 patents in this and related areas and is an expert on it, so I'm intrigued. Where at St. Mary's University? Do they need to know the place, or? See Shripad? Okay. See Shripad if you want to know where it is. Okay. All right. Yes. Yeah. As long as it's quick. Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, good to know. February 3rd. I'm saying it so the people on Zoom can hear. February 3rd at 2 p.m. is the memorial for Barbara Dacey. Yeah. I'll put that in the newsletter too. Okay. Thanks. Let's sing one more time before we go. I think this might be a familiar tune for some of you. I don't know when the last time it was sung in this room was. It's on your order of service. What did we miss?
For the beauty of the earth.
You want to sing that one instead? I think you know the doxology too. But that's the thing on your order of service. But number 21 is more fun. Let's sing number 21. See, I'm open to negotiation. Let us give thanks for this time that we spent together, where we have set some intentions of transformation, even if we have not magically changed ourselves, and let us go out reminding ourselves that this earth is a beautiful, wonderful, complicated place. We're going to sing number 21 for the beauty of the earth. And go ahead, Faith.
For the splendor of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies. Source of grateful praise, for the joy of ear and eye, for the heart and mind's delight, for the mystic harmony, linking sense to sound and sight. Source of all to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the wonder of each hour of the day and of the night, hill and vale and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of light. Source of all to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of human care, sister, brother, parent, child, for the kinship we all share, for all gentle thoughts and mild. Source of all to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise.
Go in peace. Yeah.